message. This is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, you listen to Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. I don't have to introduce this sweetheart, do I? Oh, yeah.
Christine, Teeny, Jarrett. So there's a book about her called Teeny. It was written by her grandson, Brennan Martin. I met him last year at WrestleCade. Seemed like a really nice young man. So there's a book about her out there if you want to go out there and fact check. Some of the stuff I'm just going to talk about, if you listen to the Cornette podcast, obviously, you hear a whole lot, of Teeny stories or Miss Christine stories. I'm just going to, let you know that some of the things I know. Her son was Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, her grandson, Jeff Jarrett, wrestled. She started selling tickets in the 40s and 50s when Nick Goulas was promoting shows. I guess it was Goulas and Welch owned the Tennessee territory. And Christine used to sell tickets at a weekly wrestling show. From my understanding, from what I read, she got a divorce in about 1945, and she started working at a five and dime, like in Nashville. And someone come by, and I guess it was Nick Goulas or whoever. She started selling tickets, and before long, she took a full-time job selling tickets out of a shoe store, if I'm not mistaken. For like the next 40 years, she stayed in the wrestling business.
She is the lady that made Louisville wrestling what it is. She is the lady that made Jerry Jarrett what he is. She is the lady that I would like to bring out here last night in tribute, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Christine Jarrett. We would like to honor tonight, long-time Louisville wrestling promoter, the mother of Jerry Jarrett, the grandmother, of course, of Double J, Jeff Jarrett, of Jason Jarrett, Miss Christine Jarrett, returning after a couple of years' absence tonight to the Louisville Garden. Okay, you're going to read the plaque. June 11, 1995, on the 25th anniversary, a special tribute to Christine Jarrett, the first lady and longtime promoter of Louisville wrestling. Miss Christine, we love you.
You said it very well, Randy, and it is sure true. Without this lady, there sure wouldn't have been any Louisville wrestling. She did it. Thank you, Christine, from the bottom of our...
She came from a very poor upbringing, and she broke out of that mold. She took care of her family. She took care of an invalid sister. She done a whole lot of different things. And also, from my understanding, I never worked at and we can get into that another time, I never worked the Memphis territory, but, where she was in Nashville there, she was just involved in the wrestling business, from various roles, from ticket seller to gimmick seller to driving a young Jim Cornette, his mom, from town to town while he was taking photographs back in the day. And I guess she also had some lessons that she passed on to some of the boys about, stuff about, saving your money, flirting with the rats, and I don't know all those, different little things, because, again, I wasn't around her or anything. That's just some of the hearsay and some of the stuff I've read,
Oh, absolutely. And keeping in mind, like you said when you and I were talking about it, no Christine Jarrett, no Jerry Jarrett, no Jerry Lawler, no Andy Kaufman.
Right.
I guess you could even push it far enough out. You could say the Poffo family would have never have started the ICW.
Yep.
So without her, there is the entire face of wrestling changes without Christine Jarrett.
Yeah. So I have a little quote here from Double J, Jeff Jarrett. It said her legacy will always be that she treated this wrestling business like a business. That's always been hard for many guys to do. She wanted the guys to have something when their wrestling days were over. And he put, I learned the simple, basic facts from her that I carry on today, that I'll carry on my grave, second and sound and true. They're pretty simplistic. If you follow a few simple rules in business, it's really hard to go wrong. So there's her grandson, Jeff, promoting her. That was on a Slam magazine article. And then, like I said, her other grandson, I'm sure she had more than those two, but she has a book. There's a book called Teeny. It's available on Amazon by Brennan Martin. That's one of her other grandchildren. I think the cover has her and Andre the Giant on it, or at least it did. They may have changed the cover, and the Andre picture and her may be in the middle of the book now. I'm not sure how they've done that because I've seen two different covers. But anyway, there's a lot of information out there because there's several interviews with Jeff Jarrett, of course, but also recently popping up has been a lot of Jerry Jarrett interviews on YouTube, and I'm sure you can hear some of his stories as well. And if you listen to, again, I'm going to go ahead and give him a plug, of course, is Jim Cornette Experience or The Drive-Thru. He talks a lot about Christine Jarrett. So
any of the boys or anybody that did anything that was out of the way or stupid or not thought through very well or something they shouldn't have done, I don't care if they were 6 years old or 60, Christine Jarrett would give them the grip. She would take like this and she would grab you just like that and she would pooch your lips out and she would focus and look in your eyes and tell you, dress you down about what you just done and make sure you knew not to do that. He's fucking going on blah, 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 and she gave the commissioner the grip. And she said, Fred Lampson, you worry about collecting the taxes and leave the wrestling to us. And he didn't come back for 6 months. Christine Jarrett, she could have stared down a fucking mountain lion.
If you go to tinyurl.com/bbteeny, it will take you right to the digital download on Amazon for that book, where you can buy it right on Amazon.
there you go.
So that's BB.
Damn, you're good.
Yep, BB Teeny.